What's up, guys? Kelly McKay here, aka HVAC Millionaire, right here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, and leave me a comment below. Thank you guys for your past comments. Greatly appreciate the support. It means a lot, and it keeps me doing these. So today I want to talk about your HVAC business. It's kind of like commissioning or doing the startup on a brand new system. You know, none of the components have any wear and tear on them. As long as it was manufactured properly, it's probably going to run right out of the gates. And when you're starting that system up, you've got to, check your gas pressures or adjust the refrigerant level, make sure your airflow is good, all of these things. Maybe set the program in the thermostat. And once you do all those things, well then, the system's probably going to work well for a while, especially if you installed it and you installed it properly. Then it's probably going to work well. Well, that's kind of like starting a business. You shoot out of the gates and you do not have any wear and tear on you yet. You think you do because you work for somebody else and you think you know what it's going to be like, but you don't. That's the reality. There's no business owner alive who owns an HVAC business or any of the trade businesses that would say that it's way different when you get out on your own. It is, and you're alone, and you realize just how involved and complex that this business is. There's so many things that need to happen. It's kind of like a system. When you really think about a heating and air conditioning system, it's complex. There's a lot of things happening to make it produce cool air. And so, but on a new system, it's fresh, it's ready to go. There's no wear and tear on any component. So boom, shoots out of the gate, starts cooling, doing a good job. And if it's installed properly, just like I know, because we're HVAC professionals, that it needs to be maintained. And if you don't maintain it, what happens? The filter gets dirty. Well, then the system's eventually going to plateau, and then it might even might even completely quit. Well, that's what happens in business. If you don't maintain yourself, then you're going to get to a point where you can only do so much. And if you don't change it from that point, if you don't change the filter and wash the condenser and recheck the charge and do all these things, well, then you're not going to last in business. Just like the system wouldn't last if it wasn't maintained. Then what happens after a few more years? Let's say you find some maintenance. Maybe at that point in your business, you realize I had no idea this was going to be so overwhelming. And I've got all this stuff going on. So I went and searched online. I found a few things and I started to learn. It started to become a priority for me, kind of like the priority video I did before this, where now it's a priority and I'm searching for the information. I'm ready to hear it. Like I may have heard it before, but it didn't matter because I wasn't at a spot in my business where I was ready to listen. But at this point, you've paid buckets of sweat at this point. You've got some scrapes and bumps and bruises because you've been in business for a little bit. And now you're ready to listen. So you go search online and you find some things and you implement those things, and it kind of makes a difference. Like, kind of like doing the maintenance on the system. It definitely makes a difference. So now you're ready to go again, right? You got some new information and now you're not stuck. You're not plateaued. So you jump up again. Maybe you're doing a little bit better. And then same thing happens. Now we're years into this system's operation, and, normally on your old, copper and aluminum type coil, somewhere between 8 to 12 years, that system was probably going to have a leak. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be in the evaporator. It could just be a microscopic pinhole leak, but that's like your business. But it normally doesn't take 8 to 10 years. Like the statistics say, most people don't last 5 years in business. So let's say this is by year 3. So year 3, you've got some pinhole leaks. And what happens when a system has pinhole leaks? Well, it takes longer, it runs longer cycles. This would equate to you working longer hours. It doesn't do any better. It continues to just only put out what it can put out, which is like what happens in business. And eventually, if it runs long enough, then there's more and more pinhole leaks. That's what happens. So if it doesn't wind up quitting after that pinhole leak and it doesn't get recharged, you don't add refrigerant to that system, then it puts a lot of wear and tear on that system, which decreases the life efficiency. Well, it's the same way with your business. If you don't change some things in your business, it's going to decrease your life efficiency because You are the business at this point. Even if you have 4 or 5 employees, you're the person who the business depends on, making the right decisions with the money, making sure to put your name out there and market to get more customers, making sure to take care of yourself, to maintain yourself so you don't burn out, so you can continue to keep going, to actually have the time that it takes to grow the business properly. And so all these things relate to a system, because if you do not do those proper things, then the system can only do so much. And eventually it's going to get more and more pinhole leaks, and it has to be recharged more and more often. And if we don't make some repairs in that thing, it's not sustainable. Just like with your business. You can't go, people can go 10, 15, 18, 20 years in business and never really get anywhere, because they're not maintaining not only their energy, and they're not maintaining their focus, but they just decide to never make any repairs. And so that system eventually will be replaced with a new system. Well, that could be just like in your business. A new company is going to come along, somebody else who's fresh out of the gates, ready to commission that new system and get a startup, and they're going to have more energy than you. Maybe they have watched HVAC Millionaire on YouTube, and they know this is going to be a difficult road, a difficult journey, and I better learn. So if I learn these things, I'm going to eventually surpass that person who's been in business for 18 years. Because, not only because I'm hungrier, but because I understood that there's going to be challenges, and I understood I better refill my tank. A lot of times we go into business, we think that we're going to get all this support from our family, friends, our relatives, our neighbors. And that's not often the case. Like, sometimes we don't get the support that we thought we were going to get. And it's always just think of that as another pinhole leak in your evaporator coil, and then we have things, why I talk about a lot is having cash reserves. We have to build up cash reserves so that when things go wrong, because they will go wrong in business, it's inevitable. It's kind of like springing a major leak, right? If you don't fix that major leak, the system will not cool for very long. You've got to come in, make a repair, do an overhaul, maybe replace the condenser fan motor, whatever it is, because it's got so much wear and tear on it that it just can no longer run. Or it's so low on fuel. Just like the human body and yourself, you might get so wiped out that it's really hard to get recharged and go at it again with the same fire and tenacity that you did when you first started. So if this sounds like you, and you can totally relate to what I'm saying, where out of the gate you're fresh and crazy, and you're like, you're willing to take risks, and then as your self-esteem continues to take hits, like not getting the support you thought you were going to get, not having the business be like what you thought it would be, this all hits at your self-esteem, and then the negative self-talk begins. Like, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe I'm in the wrong business. Maybe I just don't have what it takes. Well, those are the things that you have to recharge yourself. You got to dump, it's garbage in, garbage out, but good in, good out. So you want to continue to fuel your mind, to fuel your body, to recharge yourself, and learn new things so you can get to that next level and start cooling the way that system cooled when it was first commissioned. And that's what I want to help you with your business do. I want to refresh your outlook on the business, make sure that you do the right things, the foundational things that could have been missed from the get-go. A system that doesn't get properly charged right out of the gates never cools to its full capacity. Well, if you didn't know a lot more stuff when you first opened the business, like most of us, it's not producing to its capacity. And so it can be very unfulfilling. And you continue to pay buckets and buckets of sweat and blood and bruises and bumps and lessons learned, but you just don't get there quite as fast as you thought you were going to be. So if you're interested in having some help with this and getting to that next level and repairing that system and adding some more refrigerant to it, then I want you to click the link below and book a call with me. And let's talk about if you are a good fit or not to join HMC, HVAC Millionaire Coaching. I'm going to help you, and my team are going to help you, and all the members are going to help you push yourself up, get out of the slump that you're in, give yourself a tune-up, a checkup from the neck up, and start moving forward again. Top you off with refrigerant so you're ready to run at capacity again. So love you guys. Hope this helped. Hope you can relate to what I'm saying here, because it is the difference between winning and losing. You've got to continue to recharge your batteries one way or another, whether it's through a coaching group, whether it's through seminars, but you've got to learn constantly, and you've got to continue to implement, or things don't change. And just like a cooling system that is not maintained will eventually break down. So I want to help you get to your first million. That's what we really specialize in, because a lot of foundational things have to change and be put in place for that to happen. And that's why 96%, 97% of all businesses never hit $1 million. I know that's hard to imagine when you look in Facebook and you see all these people having great success, but markets are different. And that's why the course that I built that coincides the weekly coaching calls is called 7 Figures in 7 Weeks in Any Market. Now, 7 figures, 7 weeks, because if you take one chapter at a time, one group of lessons at a time, you can get through those in 7 weeks. And once you have all that information, you're going to know what needs to happen in order for this business to make $1 million+. And that's the first wall. You know, it's a wall. You're going to come up against it sooner or later, where it's really hard because things have to change. So you can climb the wall and get over the top. Once you get over the top, there's a lot of things that are working at that point. And when those things start working properly, then you can go to 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. And at that point, then it's time. There's, the next wall can be around 3 million. Then there's $5 million wall. And then I think it's 10 million after that. So let me help you get your foundational stuff right, so you can get past that $1 million wall and start really changing your business for the better and changing your life for the better. Because the way we coach is a Gestalt type method, which means whole, entire. If you're not getting along in relationships in your life, and your spouse is angry because you're gone all the time, or you guys never talked about what it's going to take to grow the business, well, then you're going to struggle. And so once we get those things in place, then we can move forward and you can start building your business. So that's all I got for today. Go make money. Boom.